You ever heard the saying, readers are leaders? Maybe another one is the more you learn, the more you earn. But not all books are created equal. I've read over 300 in self-improvement alone. Some cover to cover, they're all marked up with a pen and a highlighter, and others you stop after the first couple chapters because it's not hooking you. Well, these, my friend, are the 5 books last year that had me hooked. You know the rules, no cheating. Don't skip ahead, guys. Without further ado, let's get started. Starting with book number 1, The Expectation Effect, David Robson. The book's premise is in the title. What you expect is what you experience. When you think about your thoughts influencing your reality, you normally think of one of two things. Either A, it's the law of attraction, or B, it's like a placebo effect. And what's funny about placebo effects is they kind of get written off. Yeah, he took that supplement and, got some results, but it's probably all placebo. But what's amazing is in here it talks about how placebos, which actually means I will heal in Latin, can account for 30 on the conservative side to 60% of all the benefits of medicine. One quick example here is it talks about sleepers. Let's just say you got like 4 hours of sleep. If you go the next day and you complain about it and you say, I'm so sorry, I got 4 hours of sleep, I am a zombie, I can barely function, you will experience all the detrimental effects of poor sleep. But then there's people in the other camp who get bad sleep when they measure it and they don't complain. It seems to negate all the effects of poor sleep. Talks about another study how basketball players, you see them on the court in the NBA doing free throw and they do this little ritual. They're 12% more accurate when they're able to do their pre-free throw ritual. Does that ritual do anything for them? No, but it puts them in the state of where they expect to shoot the ball. So how do you use this in your life? The biggest one is on self-fulfilling prophecies. And that's why we talk so much on this channel about identity, your self-image of yourself. That literally becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You tell yourself you're a loser, you're broke, the best days are behind you. Watch your life spiral down. You tell yourself, hey, this is like a hero in a movie who's making a comeback story. Watch your life start to align and become your reality. The expectation effect I found fascinating for going beyond spiritual explanations like the law of attraction or manifesting and adding a little more science with what we know and how we can measure things, backing up placebo effects, and more importantly, how you can use it to influence your life. Let's do this one. Richard Short's No Bad Parts, a book that was recommended to me by my coach therapist, and I'm glad he did. It's easy to think of yourself as the mind and body, or your soul and your spirit. There's all these dualistic splits we can do, and it's assumed that if you have any more than 2, you're in crazy land, or you're like that movie Split where they have 10 different personalities. Richard Short's actually developed IFS, which is internal family systems, that's all about your internal family inside, that you're not just 1 or 2 parts, you're multiple, you're potentially infinite. There's a protector part, there's a compassionate part, there's a part of you that's stuck at 14 years old wanting to rebel. So if you feel like you're battling sometimes in your psychology, this is giving labels to those different parts. And once you identify and you become aware of this part, you can talk to it, work with it, heal it. And you're not getting rid of it. You're not making it bad. As the title says, there are no bad parts. And I love that because the world of therapy or self-improvement, when you start learning about the things you can improve on, it just becomes this never-ending list. Oh, I don't like this about myself. You make yourself something to fix. And part of self-healing, which is the other side, is realizing you're not a project to fix. You're not broken. You need to accept these parts of yourself. And ironically, that's when they start working for you instead of against you. And you might find you have more energy and freedom and you might like life more. There's a saying, the truth is always 3 levels deep. Oftentimes with self-improvement, we're tempted to just go after the first layer. And where I find a lot of benefit and have found benefits this year is going and working with a couple layers deeper, which is usually in the parts work. This book right here, No Bad Parts, it walks you through sort of the model and how you can use it. Next up, we got a repeat offender. You might recognize this if you saw last year's video. I reread it. Dopamine Nation. Dr. Anna Lembicki. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Dopamine's been getting a lot of buzz. You might have heard this more than you did 5 years ago. The neurotransmitter, actually a neuromodulator in your brain. This chemical is associated with wanting, cravings, and drive. It's your motivation center. We live in a world that is so high dopamine, even 10, 20 years ago, we couldn't have imagined. What used to make you feel like good, you just need a little bit, you need a huge stimuli to feel normal. And if that's unchecked, in the book it talks about how addictions form, where eventually the thing you started to feel good, now you need to just feel not bad. And that's freaky. So giving a little personal story here, recently I quit the habit of nicotine pouches, those little Zins. And that was a brutal one to kick because I noticed myself popping like 10, 20 a day. When I would take it, I would get so motivated. I would have a, happy, euphoric feeling. I could film videos and I felt I was more articulate, but literally 10 minutes after, I noticed a crash. And I was like, well, maybe I just need more. And so I took more and eventually, sure enough, boom, felt good, articulate, smooth talker, in a good mood, and then I would crash. And you need more and more and more and more. And I noticed the amount I was using go up and up and up. And that was very scary because I noticed throughout the day, all I was thinking about was, wait, did I forget the Zyn in the car? Babe, we gotta go back. Oh, that's cool. I'll just buy one at a gas station. And pretty soon I was taking these Zyns and I didn't even feel that euphoric concentration. I just felt like normal. If you're dehydrated and you drink a little glass of water and you're like, okay, all right, now I feel good. I'm back. You don't feel euphoric when you drink water, right? It's just like, yeah, of course I need this. Addiction's so sneaky because it tells you oh, you can handle it now. Oh, you can just do one and yeah, it'll snap you out of the funk. Boom, full blown. And now being months out on the other side, I feel some of that drive and ambition and motivation to do the simple things come back. So the bad news is that yes, there's a lot out there that'll hook you and suck you into dopamine and it'll drain you like a parasite, sucking your motivation and drive to do things. And we're all capable of getting addicted to things, and there's no shame around it. The good news is that you can reset your dopamine levels very quickly, and she recommends doing a 30-day fast. And in the book, it talks about stories of patients that she worked with who did that, and all their motivation came back, their life started to improve, and they never wanted to go back. This next book, Michael Singer's The Untethered Soul, another book that I reread this year that was just amazing. And I'm like, dude, I got to read this one every year. Michael Singer has an amazing story. He was this guy who just wanted to be a hippie in college, went to Mexico and then somehow found himself through letting go, through surrendering, through reluctantly being like, okay, I guess I'll do it, being a CEO of a $1 billion company that eventually got bought out by WebMD. Pretty crazy. For the big idea here, I'll read you one of my favorite quotes from it. There is nothing more important to true growth than realizing you are not the voice of the mind. You are the one who hears it. If you don't understand this, you'll try to figure out which one of the many things the voices says is really you. People go through so many changes in the name of trying to find myself. They want to discover which one of these voices, which one of the aspects of their personality is who they really are. The answer is simple. None of them. The voice inside your head that's telling you all the BS, is that really your voice? No, you're the one who hears it. And oftentimes those things are from other people, aren't they? Who's telling you you're not good enough? You might hear that voice is your dad talking to the 14-year-old kid. Who's telling you you're unattractive? You might find if you listen close enough, that's a voice of a comment that got posted somewhere you saw about yourself when you were in college. These are all subconscious and we pick these up. And so this book talks about letting go and detachment or meditation mindfulness. It's funny, it's 2 words, letting go. How hard can it be? It's easy to ruminate on your past failures or things that bother you. And it really does put you, it transports you from the present moment that you're in right here, right now, where everything is fine, okay? In this moment, you can handle it, right? Even if it's not where you want to be is somewhere in the future that's not gonna happen until it's the present. So if you constantly ruminate, what you're doing is you're taking yourself from this timeline, which is fine right here, right now, and you're parachuting back into the past where things weren't fine. And you're experiencing it in the now and ruining this beautiful thing by something that happened in the past. It'd be like if you go out to dinner with your friend and it's a beautiful restaurant and all they want to do is talk about their ex the whole time. You'd be like, dude, you're not even dating her anymore. What is she doing? Enjoy the restaurant. Come on. Realizing that the present moment is all there is. I just think it's a really important book if you're someone who finds yourself too hard on yourself and you feel like you're just in a negativity spiral and there's no way out. Remembering that you're not the voice inside your head, you're the one who hears it. You're the observer, you're the watcher. Next up, one of my favorite authors is Jonathan Haidt. I've recommended The Happiness Hypothesis, The Righteous Minds, and he wrote another book called The Coddling of the American Mind. What I love about this book is it challenges ideas of safetyism, that everyone feels like the world is worse off today than it was 10 years ago even. But objectively, when you look at metrics, the world is progressively getting safer. Things are getting better. For one of the first times, more people die of overeating and diseases of gluttony than they do of starvation and famine, not having enough. This book challenges ideas, which I love. I think that's what we're supposed to do, and that's really how you grow. In chapter 2, he gives a beautiful breakdown of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. And it's very relevant for the channel and everything we talk about here, that there's like 9 cognitive distortions or stinking thinking that we all step into. One of them's catastrophizing, so it's like the worst case scenario, the worst thing that can happen. You catch yourself like getting a cough, and then the next thing you know, you're on WebMD freaking out because you have cancer. That's like catastrophizing. And so there's methods and tools you can use to catch it, reframe it, and be in the present moment. Interesting points on delayed adolescence. Speaks about how smartphone use is giving a sort of delayed adolescence. So if kids don't free play growing up, or they're forced to stay inside, or they're just connecting virtually online, it delays a lot of their development. And so he says 18 years old is more like 15 years old. And this is a problem that's going to get worse and worse. So you're going to have like 25-year-olds that act like they're 18, or maybe in 10 years they act like they're 16 because of a lack of free play, face-to-face interaction. You know, you're in a conversation with someone, you can be like, oh, what did you mean by that? It upset me when you said XYZ, or that was really rude. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean it that way. Or you learn socially how you can't just say things. But if you're online, you don't like what someone says, and most of the time it's a one-way conversation. Like, you know, right now, me talking at you, you just boom, 0 to 60 real quick, and it's just inflammatory and it inflames it. Now this side thinks that other person is crazy because look at their response, and the other side thinks the same thing. Also talks about fairness, how we live in a world where we want everything to be equal and everything to be fair. But fairness is a very nuanced point. It gives the example of, let's just say you have 3 siblings, right? And one of your parents dies and they have $1 million left over. What's fair? You would say, well, they split it 3 ways. Yeah, we each get a third, third of $1 million. That's fair. And technically, that's true if you go off one definition of fairness, equality. But what if you spent the last 20 years taking care of your parents, and the other 2 siblings were completely removed? They didn't even call to wish happy birthday or Christmas. When they die, what's fair? Should you each get a third? Or should fairness be in proportion to the amount of effort you put in or the relationship you had? Very nuanced, not really a right or wrong. So I thought this was a very respectful view on a lot of political topics that can get charged and opinionated very fast. And it brings the data, the facts, the science to back it up. If you do nothing else but read chapter 2 on CBT, I think that's a great breakdown of something that can potentially really help you and change your life. And I am losing my light. Thank you so much for being here. Love each and every one of you. If you like this video, please subscribe, like it, and drop a comment with your favorite books that aren't on this list that you read. Love reading those. If you want our help creating the 2.0 you in under 10 weeks, link down below where you can apply for Metamorphic. It's the first one in the description. We'd love to chat. And I'll link up right here, Dopamine video that we posted, continuing our conversation on that. Thanks so much. See ya. And stop settling. Start living.